Let's talk about that moment your chest tightens, your brain floods with fear, and your thoughts start spiraling, all because he pulled away, even slightly. You know it's happening. You're watching yourself panic. You're overthinking every word, every pause, every shift in his energy, and yet you can't stop it. Today, I'm breaking down why that happens and what you can do to take your power back starting now. If this is you, I just want you to know you are so not alone. This is one of the number one things I hear from women in anxious relationships. The second he pulls away, emotionally, physically, or even just energetically, your nervous system goes into overdrive. Your thoughts race, your chest gets tight, you start replaying the last conversation, wondering what you did wrong. And suddenly, your whole sense of security feels like it's dangling by a thread. But here's the truth. This isn't because you're too much or too sensitive. Your body is reacting exactly how it learned to protect you. And today we're going to break down exactly why this happens, what it really means, and what you can do to start shifting it right now. I know this spiral all too well. I used to go into full on panic mode the moment a text went unanswered. I thought I was just clingy, but the truth was, my body was stuck in survival mode. And once I understood what was actually happening beneath the surface, everything changed. Let's talk about what's actually happening when you spiral. This isn't just overthinking. This isn't you being dramatic. This is an emotional hijack. It happens so fast. One second you're feeling connected, maybe even hopeful about where things are going, and then he pulls away. It could be tiny, a late reply, a short message, a shift in his tone. Maybe he sends less emojis, or you feel less warmth from him, or just that intuitive feeling that something's off. And suddenly your mind is going a million miles an hour. Did I say something wrong? Why did his energy change? Is he losing interest? What does this mean? You replay conversations, you reread texts like they're coded messages. You imagine worst case scenarios that haven't even happened, yet they feel so real. And maybe you know you're spiraling. You even try to stop it, but your body won't let you. You're in full survival mode, looking for the threat, scanning for danger, trying to fix something, anything, just to feel safe again. This is one of the most disorienting things about being anxiously attached because it doesn't matter if he's just busy or had an off day. Your system doesn't wait for facts, it reacts to the perception of disconnection. Even if the threat isn't real, your body doesn't know the difference. And if this pattern has been playing out for a while, it can feel like it owns you. But I want you to hear this clearly. Your spiral isn't you being crazy. It's not you being needy. It's a trauma response that your nervous system developed to protect you. You're not broken. You're just dysregulated. And once you understand that, you can start to bring in compassion and regulation. So let's zoom out for a second and look at what's actually going on in your body when you spiral. Because what feels like I'm overthinking again is actually a full blown nervous system response. You've probably heard of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, right? These aren't just concepts, they're ancient survival instincts built into your body. And when you're anxiously attached, your nervous system is wired to overreact to any hint of disconnection. So when he pulls away, even just a little bit, your body perceives it as danger. It doesn't care if it's logical, it doesn't wait for any evidence. Your brain reads emotional distance the same way it might read physical threat, which means your body kicks into survival mode. Maybe you go into fight. You feel angry, demanding answers, wanting to fix it. Maybe you go into flight, pulling away first, overbooking yourself, trying to distract. Maybe you freeze, you shut down, dissociate, or go numb. Or maybe you fawn, you try harder, you become overly accommodating, abandoning your own needs just to win back his affection. Whatever your flavor is, it's not random. It's your nervous system trying to protect you from what it believes is emotional danger. And here's the wild part, it's not even about him. He just activates that old imprint. The spirals you experience now are usually echoes of a much earlier wound, one where love felt unsafe, inconsistent, or like it could be taken away at any moment. That's why this response feels so big. Even when your rational brain knows you're overreacting, your body is saying, "We've been here before, and last time it hurt." This is why mindset work alone doesn't always help, because your body is the one panicking. And until you start working with the nervous system directly, your healing will always hit a wall. But the good news is you can rewire this. And the more you learn to regulate in those moments, the more power you reclaim. So, where does this all begin? Why does your body treat a delayed text like abandonment or a quiet moment like rejection? The answer almost always traces back to childhood. If you grew up with a caregiver who was emotionally unavailable, inconsistent, or unpredictable, you learned on a core level that love was unstable. Maybe sometimes they were warm and affectionate, other times cold, distracted, even emotionally reactive. And as a child, you didn't have the tools to make sense of that inconsistency. So your nervous system learned to stay on high alert, to anticipate shifts, to manage the emotional tone of the room, just to feel a little bit safe. And here's the thing most people don't realize, children don't interpret inconsistency as my parent is struggling. They internalize it as something must be wrong with me. So, what gets wired is this painful loop. If I can just be better, quieter, more helpful, less needy, maybe they won't leave. Does this sound familiar? That same loop often gets activated in adult relationships, especially the ones that matter the most to you, because your inner child isn't gone. She's still in there. And when your partner pulls away, it's her who feels the panic. It's her who fears the silence, and her who starts to spiral, trying to earn love or fix it or shrink to feel safe again. This is why the spiral feels so overwhelming. It's not just your adult self reacting, it's a younger part of you that never got to feel securely loved. But here's the beautiful news, that part of you isn't broken. She just needs you. She needs your presence, your safety, and your love, not his. And that's where healing really begins. When you stop outsourcing safety and start bringing it home into your own body. So let's walk through a practice you can do right now to start shifting that spiral in the moment. Okay, take a deep breath with me. Let's practice shifting out of the spiral together. If you're not driving, I want you to actually do this with me right now. And if you are driving or out and about, come back to this later when you can really drop in. First, put your feet flat on the floor. Let them press into the ground like you're reminding your body, I'm here, I'm safe, I'm supported. Now place one hand on your chest and the other hand on your belly. Feel the warmth of your own touch. This is you coming back to you. Let your eyes softly scan the room and name 3 things you can see. Say them out loud if you can. Now name 3 things you can physically feel. Maybe the texture of your shirt, the coolness of the air on your skin, the ground beneath your feet. This is called orienting. It helps your nervous system come out of threat mode and back into the present mode. Now take a slow breath in through your nose for 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4 and exhale slowly through your mouth for 6. Let's do that again. Inhale for 4 and hold and exhale for 6. You're doing beautiful. Just stay with me. You don't need to fix anything right now. You don't need to understand the spiral. You just need to remind your body we are safe right now. Nothing is wrong in this moment. This simple practice, grounding, orienting, and breath, can shift your entire emotional state in less than 60 seconds. You don't have to think your way out of a spiral. You need to feel your way back home into your body. And once your body is calm, you'll be ready to reconnect with yourself at an even deeper level. So let's take that step together in the next practice. Now that your body is grounded, let's move into a more energetic practice. Because regulation isn't just physical, it's energetic, emotional, and spiritual. This is about teaching your system that safety doesn't live in his words, his presence, his validation. It lives inside of you. So, again, if you're in a space where you can do this, close your eyes. If not, just imagine yourself doing it, or you can come back to it later. Place both of your hands over your heart and let them rest there like you're holding space for your own beating heart. Feel its rhythm, feel its warmth. Now, I want you to breathe into this truth. I am safe, even in silence. Say it, say it out loud if you can, or whisper it to yourself. I am safe, even in silence. Breathe that in. Let it land. Not because you believe it fully yet, but because you're willing to practice. Visualize your heart glowing softly with a warm light, maybe pink, maybe gold, whatever color feels comforting to you. And with each breath, let that light expand. Let it fill your chest, spill into your belly, wrap around your shoulders, and slowly flow throughout your entire body. This is your energy, your safety, your power. You're not waiting for him to say the right thing. You're not chasing reassurance. You are becoming the source of your own security. You get to hold yourself in the stillness, in the silence, in the space in between. Because silence doesn't always mean abandonment. Sometimes silence is a space for healing. And the more you anchor into that inner knowing, the less power the spiral holds over you. So now that you've grounded your body and calmed your energy, let's connect with the part of you who really needs to be heard in these moments, your inner child. Because when you spiral, as we said, it's not just your adult self reacting, it's often that younger version of you, the one who felt overlooked or misunderstood or emotionally neglected. So I want to invite you into a gentle journaling practice. If you're able, pause the episode here and give yourself a few minutes with these prompts. If you're listening on the go, just repeat them in your mind or come back later and write them down. I'll also include them in the show notes so you can find them there. Here's the first one. When someone pulls away, the story I tell myself is, and let yourself be brutally honest here. Is it, I did something wrong? I'm too much? He's going to leave? I'm not lovable? Get the story out of your head and onto the page. Because once it's on paper, you can see it instead of being in it. Now, the second prompt. If my inner child could speak in that moment, what would she need to hear? Maybe it's, you're not in trouble. You didn't do anything wrong. I'm here. I've got you. You are safe. This is your opportunity to become the parent, the protector, the presence that little you always needed. Speak to her with love. She doesn't need perfection. She just needs your compassion, your presence, and your willingness to listen. These journal prompts aren't about fixing the spiral. They're about getting to the root of what it's really asking for: safety, reassurance, and connection with yourself. And once you begin giving that to yourself, your entire relationship dynamic starts to shift. Because when you stop abandoning yourself in the spiral, you become someone who is rooted, even when love feels uncertain. So you've met the spiral, you've grounded your body, you've heard from your inner child. Now let's flip the script completely. Because here's the truth most people never tell you. What if this moment isn't about him at all? What if the spiral has nothing to do with his actions and everything to do with the meaning your system attached to them? We're so quick to make it about him pulling away. But what if it's really about you pulling away from yourself? Because when we spiral, we're often abandoning ourselves in the exact moment we need our presence the most. Instead of saying to yourself, hey, love, I know this is scary, but I've got you. We say, what did he do? How do I fix this? How do I get him to come back? We turn our attention outward instead of inward. We give our power away to someone else's behavior. We forget that our spirals are information, not evidence. Just because you feel abandoned doesn't mean you are. Just because you feel rejected doesn't mean you've done something wrong. The spiral is a messenger. It's revealing where your sense of safety still lives outside of you. And that's not a flaw, that's a map. A map that's showing you exactly where your healing wants to happen. So the next time you catch yourself spiraling, ask yourself, what if this moment isn't about him? What if this is about me coming back home to me? Because the truth is, you don't need to stop spiraling to heal. You just need to meet yourself inside of it with presence, compassion, and power. So let's recap what just happened. You learned that your spirals aren't random. They're rooted in your nervous system, your childhood experiences, and the ways your body learned to protect you. You practiced coming back into your body. You met your inner child with compassion, and you learned how to reframe the spiral, not as something to fear, but as a sacred invitation to come home to yourself. Let me say this loud and clear. You are not too much. You are not broken. You are not crazy. You're just dysregulated. And there is so much hope, healing, and freedom waiting for you on the other side of this work. If this episode resonated, if you felt seen, understood, and you're ready to actually heal the root of your relationship anxiety, this is exactly what we do inside Healing Her. It's my 12-week private coaching program for women who are done with the push-pull patterns, the spirals, the self-abandonment, and who are ready to feel deeply secure in who they are and how they love. This isn't surface-level mindset work. This is nervous system regulation, inner child healing, and energetic recalibration that changes everything. If you're curious, if your body is saying yes, the link to book your free discovery call is in the show notes. I would be honored to walk with you on this journey. Until next time, honor your spirals, come back to your body, and remember, you were never meant to outsource your worth.